I remember seeing a video, I think it was like 6 months ago, maybe a little bit less than that, of these climate activists pretty much, I think they smeared paint on the Mona Lisa or something like that. Or was it oil activists?
So, yeah. Just stop oil in there. Yeah, all in orange. Yeah, I did see this. I think they hit quite a few sort of museums and galleries, smearing sort of paint, and I think they have these sort of fire extinguishers, don't they? Which is, yeah. I think it's a real shame. I mean, not to get into politics, etc. I mean, it's damaging something that, you know, once that's damaged, it's going to be quite difficult to reverse it. Fortunately, a lot of these museums have the best restorers, so works on paper and also works on canvas, so they can get those in almost like an A&E treatment and get the work sort of removed. It's interesting that they're choosing to damage culturally important works, you know, like the Mona Lisa. Kind of just goes to show that, you know, their line is to attack something that people hold quite dear to them. So Mona Lisa is probably quite a big part of
huge
identity for people. Yeah. People sort of, you know, so that's probably why they're attacking it. And also, it's quite easy. I mean, if you know, the security is great. You usually have sort of one person sat in the room, but, you know, you can get really close to these things. And, you know, you're right there in front of them. And if you wanted to, I mean, we've seen in the past sort of crazy people taking knives to works. You know, that was there was a Gainsborough, actually, I think sort of 5 years ago, that was slashed by somebody, which is quite weird to get sort of offended by a Thomas Gainsborough picture, which is like an idyllic scene that was done, you know, a long time ago. So it is interesting. I just think it's quite easy for them, actually, to be able to go in there and actually do some damage. It's awful.
I was really surprised that they could get that close. Like there wasn't like glass. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't fully protected, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to the Mona Lisa a few times, always disappointed personally. There's far better works to go and see whilst you're over there. But the Mona Lisa is really well protected with sort of, I think it's got sort of like a glass panel around it.
Right.
And then the actual picture's in a sort of plexi box. And then there'll also be glass over the front of it. So, you know, really difficult to get to. And it's the only work that's sort of protected like that. I personally think the panels, because so many people are seeing it, there's probably more of a crowd control element than, you know, everybody sort of getting up close to it and blocking everyone's view. But a lot of the other works, I mean, you know, there's a small sign that says, please do not touch the artworks, but you can be, you know, right there in front of it.
You've got a kid as well.
Musée d'Orsay last.
You've got a kid. He's just.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can imagine everyone say, right, don't touch this as you're walking in. You know, I was in the Musée d'Orsay last weekend, and they've got an incredible modern masters collection. So Degas, Van Gogh, Gauguin, etc. And you can be right there. And you're like, I'm trying to look at these things and see if there's sort of any glass in front or not. And I think that's a really nice thing, but obviously it leaves you sort of a little bit exposed for these, you know, activists that want to sort of damage these works. You know, it's nice to get up front with pieces. Yeah. Obviously, working for an online business selling prints and multiples, it's not too often that we get with the artworks in hand. You know, sometimes we'll have viewings, etc., or, you know, we'll go to the conservation specialist to check out the condition of an artwork, and it is really nice to see that artist's signature, or to see the you know, the layered texture of a screen print, etc., which is often the medium that these artists have used to produce these prints. And that's really, it's great. There's something, it's a weird feeling when you first get up close to Banksy's signature on a print. And I remember it for a few years ago now being like, wow, this has been in his studio. And it's just the same with all the big artists, you know, David Hockney, etc. It's really cool to see that. It's quite visceral. And owning something like that, it's amazing. You can't do it with music. You can't do it with a lot of other sort of culturally important things. Whereas art, you can physically own something that's been in close contact, or, you know, been signed by the artist. It's a really nice thing.